How do you tell if someone is attracted to you or just being very friendly? There's no good answer to that question. A million different people may give a million different signals or hints or signs that they are or are not interested in you romantically. What I found works for me and what I think is the kindest, least awkward way both towards yourself and the other person is to 1. Have some sort of consistently positive relationship, repeated interaction with them first, and then 2. In a lighthearted and friendly way and without implying any kind of emotional pressure, just ask if they'd like to go on a date with you. Use the word date. If they say yes, congrats, they're into you at least enough to give it a shot and see where it goes. If they say no, for the love of all that is holy, don't take it as a personal insult, it probably isn't. Keep it lighthearted and take the refusal with grace. They aren't into you, and throwing a tantrum over it or trying to pressure them further isn't going to help them be into you whatsoever. Usually the realization comes 10 years later when you are trying to fall asleep. My cousin once told me, hey, remember my friend, she was pretty cute BTW. Yeah, she had a crush on you a few years back. Bitch, why the fuck didn't you tell me then? Man, this hurts me deep. Insanely beautiful girl I was friends with in a group. I tell my friends I like her a lot, they tell her, she tells them she likes me a lot, they don't tell me. I know it's my fault for not making the move, but help your boy out lol. What's wrong with your friends? SMH. Depends on where you live. Here in England, being anything other than cold and aloof is seen as basically throwing yourself at someone. Canadian who met some English guys, they all said I was insanely keen, and I didn't know what that meant. Learned later they thought my normal friendliness was obsessive flirtation. LOL, insanely keen. Hilarious. With that being said, I wonder if it's regional even among Brits. So I guess in Texas we're super friendly too. I was working with a foreign client who gave me a weird look when I said if you have any questions we're always here to help. He had the I'm not interested look, and I wanted to explain so bad that I'm not interested either, but that would have made it even more awkward, so I just pretended not to notice and died a little inside. Do they ever initiate the friendliness? Responding to someone else's kindness is a lot different than initiating it. But even still, the only sure way to know is to ask. There is a girl that I work with that has asked me to go spend the weekend with her in NYC, so I would assume that she's flirting or interested in me. I mean, she's kinda flirty with everyone, it just seems like it's more so with me. She always makes a point to talk to me when I walk by, and we're always making each other laugh anytime we talk. But I'm afraid of trying to make a move as since I work with her, and she's way out of my league. As Rumple5Skin said. This reminds me of my other often repeated piece of advice. You are not the commissioner of her league. She decides whether you get to be in it or not. How can she do that without a chance to scout you? Go for it. If she's into you, cool. If not, you're just work colleagues. If they act the exact same way with other people, you're out of luck. Or everybody's in luck. I see you've also met my ex. Edit. Jesus. For every one of you that ended up dating the town bicycle and didn't know it going in, my thoughts are with you in these trying times. Also, get tested. I also choose this guy's ex. This is actually how I came to be with my current girlfriend. Totally thought she was flirting when I first met her, so I invited her to hang out. I thought we were going on dates the first 4 to 5 times, she just thought we were hanging out as friends. I found out later that she is that friendly to everyone she meets and has a ton of friends, so this wasn't unusual to her. I eventually picked up that things weren't romantic, told her about the whole thing, and we laughed about it. Things stayed that way for a few months, and we remained friends. Then one day we were watching a movie and she asked if I wanted to make out. Not sure what shifted the gears, pretty rad though. It became obvious to her that you actually liked her personality and weren't just trying to get into her pants. Maybe she just came to like him more over time. Haven't you noticed that people become more or less attractive to you as you get to know them better? I've met knee-knocking gorgeous people that after a while I found to be visually repulsive or meh. And boring-looking people whose appearance grows on me such that I think they are hugely attractive appealing. So many comments are assuming that the term attractive means sexually attractive, and I meant a far broader appeal than that. Just universally enjoying being around them, wanting to be in their presence. People of both sexes, people who I would never be interested in being with. Kids note, old people, celebrities, everyone. Just they have great personalities and I like them, or they are awful people and they repulse me, and my visual assessment of them morphs to match my emotional reaction to them. It's not immediate. It takes time to know people. Note. Geez, guys, I'm saying it's not sexual, just a recognition of inner beauty. If I could go back in time and tell my past self one thing about dating, it would be, if you have fun hanging out with a girl, do just that. Spend as much time as you can, just like you and a friend would do. Don't even think about actually hooking up, or care if she's not spending all of her time with you. If things are going to happen, they just naturally will. Edit. I'm not saying you don't ever have to make a move. It was about getting to that point. Years ago I was living with 2 other guys, all of us single. One of them worked at a restaurant, so there were always groups of people coming over and hanging out. I was dating a girl who had no affiliation with the restaurant, but I was friendly and had fun when my roommate's co-workers would come over. There were a lot of attractive girls who would come by, but I wasn't trying to hook up with any of them. A few months go by and I stopped seeing the girl who didn't work at the restaurant. One night one of the girls who had been hanging out with us for a few months sat down behind me on the couch, reached over my shoulders, and asked what I was drinking and if she could try it. We made out that night and were together for about a year. I come to find out she had been interested in me the whole time, but knew I was dating someone. She would tell me how much she liked how I dressed, my hairstyle, how she knew I would change the brake pads on my own car, how the girl I was dating was so tall and beautiful that I would never like her little stuff like that. Things she had been noticing all along and I had no idea. Who knows what would have happened if I had been single all along. We might have hooked up right away and started dating, or most likely I would have drunkenly tried to hook up with her right away and put her on the defensive from the start. Assuming the person is single or trifling. You ask to see that person again in a different context, and the negotiation for available time and date is quick and mutually complete, no just friends overtone about it. Thursday at 8? Not available. Not into you. Thursday at 8? Not available, but what about Friday at 9? Else? Look for physicality, proximity, and eye contact when totally unnecessary. Jealousy or defeat, it's subtle when interacting with someone else of the interested person's gender. Caveat all this with me being terrible about noticing it. My wife points this out to me when we're in public. Once I see it, it's obvious, but until then it's a mystery to me. Someone tells you years later. They tell you years later after you've moved hours away, and it turns out she never said anything because she thought you had feelings for her other friend who you didn't have feelings for. She was just sexually harassing you in the middle of English class. You need to have just got engaged the week before too, and have kids with your fiancé. Why are we writing a Hallmark movie now? This has happened to me multiple times. Like a bunch of mutual friends were like, yeah, she liked you. Why didn't you ask her out? And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? Same. If someone had told me, I definitely would have asked them out. But I always assumed nobody was interested, so I never had the courage to ask. Oh well. Nah, you would have contemplated if whoever's told you she was interested in you was playing a cruel prank on you. So your reason you are not gonna ask her out. That would be me at least. As my dear old dad used to say, women who work for tips are not flirting with you. We used to extend this to if she's being paid to talk to you, she's not interested. Twitch.tv. LOL spot on, mate. You mean me donating to pay money wubby isn't gonna get me laid? Shit. As my mom said to dad, stop flirting with the waitress, you're scaring her. My dad used to hit on waitress 30 years younger. It was so embarrassing. He did it in front of my mom, they're divorced, and she made a scene telling him off. God, what an asshole he was. Same boat, man. My dad would like be overly physical and flirtatious when they clearly just wanted to do their job and go home, and it was a massive cringe. I told him multiple times severs don't like being touched or demeaned to no avail. Demon. Please tell me what this really means. I'm not good at anagrams. As a woman who works for tips, I second this. But if you actually work, how would we know? Overly direct, but they'll either give you their number on your check or tell you what time they get off work. Unless you get one of those, I'd say chances are slim. Once a bartender told me when she was getting off work. A dream come true if I wasn't 33 at the time, and automatically responded with yeah, I'll be in bed by then. By how they look at you or act around you versus other people. Difficult to gauge if you both are alone, say in a concert or a trip. I had a girl at a concert as I was leaving say, hey, I really don't want you to leave, and I was like, yeah, I know it sucks, but it's time to go. And she straight up said, no, I really don't want you to leave. I want you to go home with me. I was like, oh shit. I had apparently missed the signals the entire night. Some of us are hopeless. I feel like I have a bigger chance of winning the lottery than this happening to me. If you're not gonna see them again, just go for it. I was once called into HR for allegedly flirting with an employee, not part of my own team. For proof? I was always friendly, offered her milk to go with her coffee, and worst of all, once at an after work, I bought a round of drinks for everyone, her included. The head of HR was a bit puzzled about the whole situation and asked her what would she then suggest we do to resolve the situation, and she requested that I would stop being friendly to her and just leave her be. This poor woman just could not accept that I was being friendly. Alright, can I get a round for everyone? Everyone except Karen. Ha. For real though, how soon would the accusations of bullying start? Immediately. Flirting's basically a dumb game of chicken with gradual escalation. Or just ask if they have an SO, usually pretty obvious. I've had a lot of people ask me this just because they're nosy. Not a guarantee of attraction. My aunt asked me last week. Glad I missed that signal. Or did ya? Auntie, what are you doing? You don't. One person's just being friendly is another's take me to a hotel and fuck me right now. He's right, you know. It depends on so many things. Unfortunately, dating is one of those things that can't be predicted because you can't generalize anything. You can generalize, you just can't apply a generalization to any specific situation and expect it to be correct every time. You can with this one weird trick. Click here to learn about it. If they ask you to take off your clothes, chances are they're just being friendly. Our pants were soaking wet from walking in the rain. Got to her house, she gave me her joggers to wear so my jeans could dry. Literally got into her pants. Nothing happened. Shrug. Got into her pants, not sure what all the ruckus is all about though. The pants were way too tight and were slowly squishing my balls. Like male pants a lot more. But here's the best part. She gave me some hot coffee. I mean, it was really cold. By reading someone's comment on Reddit about how they missed all the signs and then you realize that the same thing happened to you and now you lie there contemplating your life. But you still can't be sure, yeah, maybe she's Canadian and she's just being polite, yeah, how am I to know if her kissing my nipples is a sign that she likes me? Yeah, maybe she's Canadian and she's just being polite. For me, I flat out told him that I liked him, and if he asked me out I would say yes. He said thanks and never asked me out or responded in any way that he liked me back. Bummer. A few months later we kissed. He was like, so, you like me? I should have smacked him upside the head. Apparently he thought I just said that to him to be nice. TBH, if that happened to me I'd do the exact same. Not from being unsure, just would immediately panic and shut down all unnecessary functions, like emotions and witty responses. Honestly, though, someone telling you that just to be nice isn't totally out of the question. Or just saying that sort of thing without thinking about the implications, and really is just giving you a compliment. If they're a cashier or waiter or clerk etc., don't get your hopes up. Waitress nice is a close cousin of stripper nice. Or when their name is Weedman420 Boner God. If I'm showing you affection it means I actually like you. Have you found #Queen69 Juicy Goddess yet? No, the stripper is not attracted to you. I beg to differ, I have a massive gravitational pull. But do you have thin sweatpants? That really drives them wild you know. Thin sweatpants? Enlighten me. They hate giving lap dances to guys wearing swear pants because their boner tents the pants, they come easily, and it goes through the fabric and onto them. Ask them. This is number 1. There was a waitress at a bar that my buddies and I had for like a year. I was into her, but couldn't tell how she felt. She was always fun and flirty, but I realized when she would first walk up to our table, laugh or make a joke she would look at me. I assumed that meant there was at least a chance she liked me, so I asked her out, and she said yes. She was beautiful, had a great figure and was super down to earth. She also turned out to be someone who loudly cheered at high points of movies, and I just don't need that in my life. We went our separate ways. I had this exact situation happen to me before, so I asked her out. She gave me her number and mentioned that she and her boyfriend were going to a funeral tomorrow so she wouldn't be around. What kind of response was that? Really, with some people you cannot tell. I knew a girl who was super friendly with me, I got interested, and then a few weeks around her I saw this was how she treated every guy. Smiles, oh stop it you. Flirting I wasn't special here. I moved on. I knew a girl who friendly with everyone. We sat down at a birthday party and talked non-stop for 3 hours. She was friendly with people, but I hadn't seen her do this before. I got her number and called her, we talked until my phone died. Our 10th wedding anniversary was about 6 weeks ago. Our oldest kid turned 7 in a few months. Are you sure she's into you? Seems too early to tell. I thought a few times during the wedding ceremony, gosh, I hope she's not doing this just to be polite. It's not always easy. With my fiance, when we started hanging out I would convince myself she liked me and then talk myself out of it. I would walk her home, and she'd give me a really awkward friend hug, then run inside, leaving me feeling like I'd misread the signals completely. This went on for about 3 weeks before we finally kissed at a party. I asked her about it afterwards, and it turns out she was doing the same thing. 7 years and a proposal later, I think she might have a crush on me, guys. I dunno, man. In high school I went to a dance with a guy as friends, and then he kissed me as friends, and then we brutally fucked behind the gym as friends, and we've been dating as friends for about 7 years, and we're getting married next week as friends, plus I'm knocked up with his babies, as friends. You can never really know, man. Some people are in it for the long con. Well, you can't ever really know, like even if she sleeps with you, she might just be Canadian, so honestly you shouldn't get your hopes up, and you better keep looking and wondering. Wow, that was pretty. Casually explained LOL. As a Canadian, I'd really like to know where are these overly friendly Canadian girls are. Canada. As a Canadian this is very meta. The friendly, honest approach has worked for me. You seem really nice, someone I'd like to go out with, if you'd like that too. If they're already spoken for or disinterested, they'll let you know. Either way, I've noticed that they seem to appreciate the attention if they sense you're being sincere. I would respond very positively to this approach. It's flattering but non-threatening. Take my upvote. Definitely the way to go. If someone did this to me and I wasn't interested or I was seeing someone, I'd always tell them politely no harm in asking. You never know unless you ask. I automatically assume people are being friendly. It's habit. Edit. Geez, didn't expect to wake up with 50+ replies in my inbox and result to self-deprecation. But I think I should clarify some things. I'm a romantic now after struggling with feelings towards romance in general for a bit, but before I discovered what a romanticism was, I just assumed people were being friendly because I was, and still am, too unattractive. Flirting wasn't my strong suit either, and I had a terrible track record with guys, one who was an autistic furry liar, and the other who was an autistic unhygienic clueless dude. Plus I can't commit to a relationship. Depression. Though a guy I know apparently has a crush on me, and from our interactions, I just assumed he was being friendly. Imagine my surprise when his mom told me he was crushing on me. I never would have known otherwise. Edit 2. Okay, one more edit. I realized that not all autistic guys and furry guys are bad BFs, y'all do you. This was just a case of bad luck for me. Said guy who has a crush on me also has autism, and he's a really kind-hearted dude beneath his frowny exterior. Hygienic too.
Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Tell me what you dislike or love about this video, so please comment below and hit the bell icon so you're notified anytime a new video is released. This is a WeCrow Media production.